Hi, I'm Jake Bennett from Signify Research, the Senior Market Analyst from the Imaging IT team, and I'm just going to take a little bit of time to review some of our previous predictions from the start of 2024 and delve into how they've kind of progressed over the last 9 months, 10 months or so. So the first prediction that we made at the start of the year was around collaboration between different types of imaging IT vendors. So we've kind of predicted that for 2024 we'll start to see different types of vendors come together to provide one enterprise level, more a much wider offering for imaging IT products. And actually so far in 2024 we've really seen this trend kind of come to fruition with partnerships emerging between RIS and PACS vendors, VNA vendors and PACS, image exchange being brought in, a lot of reporting partnerships also coming to the fore, which I'll touch upon in my second point as well. One of the areas that we were perhaps maybe expecting to see a little bit of activity in is digital pathology partnerships. Now actually, while there's been lots of things going on in the background around digital pathology and enterprise imaging and imaging IT vendors, there hasn't been any real development in terms of partnerships on this angle. We might start to see that change going into RSNA this year, and actually going into 2025 we'll start to see the impact of previously announced partnerships pre-2024 actually starting to impact the market and impact revenue generation. But for the most part though, the partnerships that we have seen in 24 have really focused around expanding that radiology enterprise stack rather than branching out into different multi-ology partnerships. Another hot point for 2024 that we've actually experienced is around partnerships between imaging IT vendors and AI vendors. Now whether that is AI ISVs integrating algorithms directly into imaging IT solutions like PACS, RIS, Enterprise, so on and so forth, or whether it is actually partnerships between AI platforms and imaging IT vendors. Interestingly, we've seen sort of this trend delocalize from just North America and Western Europe. Philips partnered with Carpal in Latin America, for example. We've got M3 AI platform over in Asia Pacific. So it's not so much typically where it was previously in previous years, very much a mature market, Western Europe, North America trend. It's now beginning to spread its roots further afield. And imaging IT vendors as well, I think it's important to remember that they're very much becoming more curators of solutions rather than just standalone offerings. You know, we've seen the likes of Conop Minolta is a very good example of what's been going on this year around that. They've been partnering with lots of other vendors, bringing in different capabilities and really building out their enterprise imaging offering. And that's kind of the role that we see in imaging IT vendors occupying over 2024 and beyond. So we've really seen the partnership prediction come to fruition so far this year. The second prediction that we made at the start of the year for imaging IT was that we'll start to see vendors, imaging IT vendors specifically, really capitalise on the excitement that we're seeing for reporting solutions, radiology reporting specifically. And that's what we predicted for 2024. We kind of see 24 as a bit of a year of reporting, and that's absolutely 100% played out. You know, was constantly announcements, partnerships, developments, contract wins, product developments being announced by these radiology reporting specialist companies. So I'm talking about RadAI, Smart Reporting, RadPair, for example, that have been featured in the news, certainly in our Signify News roundups very regularly. There's been over $75 million in funding for between RadAI and Smart Reporting announced this year. RadPair recently announced a V2.0 of their RadPair reporting software. RadAI has been announcing contract wins, one in Canada a couple of months ago, so expanding beyond a little bit beyond the US. Still remains a very North America centric, Western Europe centric, mature market trend at the moment. But we'll begin to see that expand into other markets over the coming years. Structured reporting vendors like the ones that I mentioned, are facing competition from RIS and PACS imaging IT vendors, where they offer very basic reporting functions as part of the the RIS or PACS offering. So to counter this, some of the reporting vendors are beginning to broaden their scope outside of just structured reporting and starting to include a little bit of operational workflow, voice recognition, and bringing in some strong AI capabilities. And then the other point of growth that we're beginning to see and will really come out over the next year or two is potentially multi-ology enterprise reporting. So bringing in cardiology, ophthalmology, digital pathology, radiology under one offering, and offering that to various different clinical users as and when, to really differentiate from that RIS, PACS, enterprise imaging vendor native reporting offering. And then the third prediction from the start of the year that we mentioned was around the power of real-world data and imaging real-world data specifically. So the prediction that we made at the start of the year was that we'd start to see vendors and providers increasingly seek to monetize their medical imaging data. And we've begun to see this begin to play out more so among the private providers that are a bit more familiar with those entrepreneurial models. The public providers, that is, has maybe not grown at the rate that we'd expected at the start of the year. They're very much held back by some of the legal and ethical implications. They're a bit more beholden to the public as public providers, and there's a little bit of squeamishness around the use of sensitive medical imaging data and monetizing that specifically for commercial or research activities. We have seen imaging IT vendors begin to partner with data curation, data cleanliness specialists like Analytic and OneMedNet over 2024. And these guys have also been partnering with life sciences and pharmaceutical companies as well, which are really driving some of that utilization of imaging real-world data. While the growth and the interest over 2024 has expanded, actual monetization has been relatively limited, more so to the pharmaceutical, the academic provider side of the market, and actually we'll see those pharmaceutical players really driving the short to medium term growth in monetization of imaging real-world data as they look for data sets to curate their machine learning or biomarker discovery. Actually, one of the most important things for imaging real-world data over the next year or two won't be so much the use of imaging data on its own for AI training, large machine learning training, so on and so forth. It will be medical imaging data as a part of a wider, holistic, multimodal data set. That's really where the value lies, where the sum parts of reporting data, imaging data, other clinical data coming together is a much higher value than the individual value of those parts of that holistic data set. So although the market's maybe slightly behind our initial expectations, we're really seeing the trend is going to grow in 2025. We'll expect there'll be some announcements around this at RSNA as well. Imaging IT vendors at the moment kind of face a bit of a choice when it comes to data curation, data monetization. Do you build native solutions, expertise around the data that you have, or go and partner with other providers like Analytic and OneMedNet to really delve into those imaging real-world data needs? So that kind of concludes where we stand at the moment in 2024 with regards to our start of the year predictions for imaging IT. We go into lots more detail and data around these predictions and other trends that we've seen for the imaging IT market as part of our Imaging IT Market Intelligence Service. If you're looking for more information or detail around the predictions that I've just discussed, or the other trends that we've been talking about this year at Signify Research, then please download the brochure via the link in the description, or you can reach out to myself or any member of the Signify Research team to book some time to have a discussion and talk about any of the interest points or questions that you might have.